pick up and
So maybe
like historic buildings, like historic.
Initially, we were contacted by Lois Oda, and so that's Fred Shimisaki's daughter. So that's my dad's first cousin, because they had gone to the very first Jerome Rowher Pilgrimage in 2018. And we weren't able to go to that one, but they came back with such positive feedback. And then on a plane flight back to California, Fred happened to be talking to Nancy Ukai, and the name Ideta came up because Fred was mentioning that his family name should be Ideta, but it's Shimasaki. And Ideta kind of rung a bell for Nancy, and she eventually, I think, sent the picture of my dad with his plaque and said, you know, I knew that Ideta sounded familiar here. Do you know this person? And it happened to be my dad. And so Fred recognized it right away. And so that is the start of the whole thing. And when we had learned about the opportunity that there was going to be a second pilgrimage, I told Clifford that, you know, I think I want to go.
So what did the K stand for?
Kitaro, my grandfather's first name.
And so that's...
The son, so that's Takashi Ideta, my dad, and their grandfather. And this was the family, I guess, nameplate that was outside of the barrack.
That's so interesting.
And you guys found it when you were cleaning out Grandma's house, wasn't it?
It's actually a storeroom over at the old house, and so that was in there.
I know you rescued it afterwards.
Yeah. To me, this has a very stylized look to it. Dad had a lot of attention to detail, and he prided himself in doing things, you know, a certain way too. One of the things that even my uncles will remember is that he was really good at drafting. And so with drafting, you have to be very precise in, you know, how you measure things out. And I remember in high school doing posters for the pep rallies, and I needed to do something big, and so he was helping me correct the way that I was making my letters, in that, oh no, you need to measure, and here, I'll show you. And I was thinking, all I want to do is, but then it was like, okay, and so I really learned, you know, how to make things even and, you know, spaced out like that. So I was really looking at it in detail a lot more, and touching it, feeling the workmanship that went into making this thing, and noticing just the kind of detailing and love and care this went into this.
I think it's important for stories to be told, and so I think being able to document as much as you can while there are Nisei still alive is really important. And I think too, we're not taught in schools about the internment. I think it was like a paragraph in my history book. And so like I had to go to college and to take an Asian American Studies class. And that's what sparked many other just curiosities I had. And I think too, it's just like if you're not told these things, if people don't talk about it, you lose a big part of your history.
And out of all the kids, I was probably the person growing up that was the least interested in knowing where I came from. It's like, I'm here right now. I'm doing my thing. Like, I want to go to Italy. I have no desire to go to Japan. I want to learn French. I want to do all these other different things. Like, so not interested, even remotely interested in anything to do with my culture. Just wildly disconnected from it. And when the plaque came around, and it was just like, oh, that's really cool. And then there were other things that I was going through at the time, and all of a sudden it seemed like a good idea to learn a bit more about where I came from. They started talking about the different perspectives, and I was sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, like, that's so familiar. You know, these feelings that people have, and different things. And I started realizing, like, these people who have gone through these experiences, like, they shaped me. and who I am, and these people who came before us. Like, how selfless were they? Like, they could have taken that experience and framed it in a totally different way, but they chose not to. And because of that, I mean, I had the luxury of being like, I don't care about my heritage, you know? Like, it was like a funny thing. But it also was one of those things of like, wow, like, I kind of want to know more now. Like, what other stories do I carry that I don't even know?